Okay, so welcome to today's New Earth Masterclass. I am Jenny Lyon, Rainbow Anderson, and I am so thrilled that you're here. I decided in the beginning of, I think it was last year, end of last year, that I was going to run these New Earth Masterclasses. So Spirit was like, run the New Earth Masterclasses. I was like, okay, what about? So I was almost having to figure it out as I was going. But the message behind it was really much about connect with people, do it in an intimate space, showcase the work, teach about things. Sort of, it was kind of, not a straight line. But then I decided to go, okay, well, what is really important here is teaching about all the polarity and all the things that I have gone through myself to get myself to where I am. So I thought, well, that's what we're gonna do, sort of thing. And here we are. So this is the fifth one, and they've all been really successful, I feel. People have had a good connection with me and joined some of the programs and like really sort of, benefited from this space, this connective space. So I'm really glad that you're here. I'm just going to check the comments now, actually. There was something there. Okay, that was fine. Didn't, just need to check that. Okay, cool. So let's dive in. So if you're new here and we don't know each other, I thought I'd just give a short introduction of, myself and the work. So I started doing energy work probably about 20 years ago now. It was in 2009 I got into the actual work that I do now. But I started out as a physical therapist, like doing massage, doing lots of body work, also like sports therapy and deep tissue and things like that. So I got really very good at the body sort of thing. You may have also seen that I talk about 7 levels of embodied leadership, and the embodiment piece comes from me learning so much about the body. And I realized that everything we have to do in our spiritual mission really comes from embodying it and fully becoming it, as opposed to kind of just teaching it. So we are the work, hence all the deep inner work and all the beautiful things that we're here to do for ourselves and for others as well. So I started out like that. I wasn't always sure about what I was doing, but what I did do was that every time I had an intuitive nudge, I followed it. And that has always worked out for me. And it does work out for everyone deciding to do that. So if you ever have an intuitive nudge to go and pursue a course or come to this class, for example, today, or whatever it is, you're meant to go. It's like you're meant to follow that and never hesitate, because it will always take you to the right place. I just wanted to share that because it's really important. Sometimes we try to overthink it, and then when we overthink it, it goes wrong. So we mustn't overthink it, just kind of try and follow the spirit. So today we're talking about abandonment and how to reclaim yourself fully. I'm going to share some of my own story as well of how I've overcome abandonment myself. And I will also teach a little bit about the soul contract. So I use the soul contract when I work with our clients, and I will just showcase my own soul contract so I can explain to you a little bit more what I mean with abandonment, etc. And without taking it too much out of context, so it gets confusing. So that's me. And I suppose I've had two spiritual awakening, one at age 23, and then I had one at age 40. Both really intense. They called reincarnation in the same body. And I suppose anyone having quite a strong spiritual awakening means that the soul has a plan for you. The soul has something in store for you. And this is why we are, I'm just letting everyone in, everyone's coming in. This is why we're going through spiritual awakenings, so that we can, it's almost like we've got to go through that harder part of overcoming something hard and an obstacle in order to actually really get there. It's almost like spirit says, how much do you want this? Like, how much do you want to be the expression of your divine truth? Like, do you really want this? And it's almost like then we get these obstacles and these things set in front of us to say, yeah, I want this, I really want this, right? And it's not, nothing's gone wrong. Everything's actually gone completely right. And I think what I really want to share here today is that all spiritual awakenings and all the different shifts that you're going through are absolutely normal. It's also very much of an individual journey. So some people might have some really intense experiences. Some people will have more of a gentle sort of spiritual growth. And some people will have like one massive thing. So you can't really compare these things. It's almost like embrace everything that is coming to you. The thing that I found was the hardest in the beginning when I had my spiritual awakenings was the lack of community. So this is why I've created my own community, so that people can support each other. Like I support my clients, but also support like this. This is a supportive call, really. And feeling that there is other people going through the same things and that no one is weird. Everyone is absolutely normal. And that there's a safe space really for it. Because if we are still with one foot in the 3D or the paradigm as we know it, and then one foot in the spiritual world, it's like we've got to integrate them both. We've got to function in both and feel happy and safe to do so in both. So if you are a spiritual entrepreneur, you also would find maybe this transitioning from working in the in the 3D environment into spiritual business can be quite challenging, because it's almost like everything that you know from the old paradigm and all the structures and how things work and doesn't really apply to the 5D business or the online business that you're going to start. So it's just knowing that you can blend both and operate in your own unique way in your business is absolutely doable. It's just that it's a new thing, because if you think about it, think back 50 years, there wasn't many spiritual businesses that was completely thriving and amazing, right? There might have been some really good authors or some leaders of the world that was obviously, showing and leading in this way. But if you look at the just people like you, like us, there wasn't. So it's a new concept, right? It's a new concept to have a spiritual, profitable, impactful business. And that's, again, another reason I'm doing these classes, because I can show you so many things that I've created so that you can have the same, like, you can do the same. And I want to show you those things. And that's absolutely possible. So today we are talking about abandonment to reclaimed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the soul contract. And I'm going to explain to you what it means, the 10-1. So that's one of the numbers in the soul contract that we use. And I will also tell my own story. So my own story from being a child of my parents divorced. And this imprint it has in children, whether it was a quiet separation or whether it was a intense separation, it doesn't really matter, because it's that separation within the child when the parents split up, and that can feel, well, it's like an abandonment, because you're not going to live with both of them at the same time. You may swap, may shift it, or may just live with one, but it's still that separation. So that's an abandonment issue, or feeling abandoned by one of the parents. So that's where it starts, and that's how it started for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the soul contract. And if you're not familiar with the soul contract yet, I'm not going to go into depth what it is, but it is a system that I use with all my clients to decode their spiritual map of life, which means it's like a tool to detect all the karmic challenges, your talents, your goals, and your soul destiny, so that we can come into a full spiritual expression this lifetime, and then create possibly a spiritual business with it, or the mission, whatever the mission is, Some people work still in employment, but they may have a higher sort of mission within that employment, which is also fine. But it's just knowing that expression of your divine truth is meant to happen. You're meant to have this spiritual expression this lifetime. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share a little bit first, and we're going to talk about the 10-1 today. It's just a 1 number, which is in my soul contract. And whether you have one or not, we don't know. I'll give you all the resources in the end so that you can go and check yours out. And then obviously you can always have a soul contract reading with myself, or learn more about it with the book and everything. So I'm going to share now the screen. I'm so happy so many people here. So we have 8 lovely people here, which is amazing. I like it. Okay, so all right. So let me just do this now and move this. Okay. So my birth certificate name, I'm Swedish originally, and my birth certificate name is Jenny Kristina Louise Andersson. So it's a very sort of like long, you can see on the phonetics how the spelling is different, obviously, from an English spelling. So if you have a Spanish name or a name of different origin than English, we decode the name and translate it into English phonetics so that we get the right numbers for your soul contract. Anyway, so if you can mute yourselves as well, if anyone is on, not unmuted. So today we are talking about the 10-1. The 10-1, I'm going to just see who that is, who is not muted. Yeah, so just muting everyone. Here we go. So the 10-1, which is in the spiritual karma here, is symbolizing on its own stability, unity, expression of God. Is an Archangel Michael energy, it's a masculine energy. And it also indicates, being of service. It's high levels of service, high levels of integrity, and sort of spiritual power, channeling abilities, being a healer, all those things. So I have 1 in spiritual karma, and I have 1 in my soul destiny. So the abandonment issue is when the 10-1 is in a karmic or goal position, sometimes even in a talent position. The person has often experienced some levels of abandonment or a wounding within the masculine and feminine within. Specifically, so it's like being abandoned by the masculine. Okay, so how that can be playing out in my case was that I wasn't technically abandoned by my father, but my mum and dad split up at age 1 when I was 1, and I can't remember it. But what happens is so my lesson here was to learning to heal my masculine and heal my feminine within, so I get this balance within. Because a child who is a divorcee child, if you like, will always have that conflict within. Am I not with both my parents because I'm not lovable enough? Like, this is kind of the ideas and the beliefs that starts being created by a child who doesn't have the emotional intelligence to understand that they're good enough. It's like the ego starts creating these stories, and it's starting to create like a conflict within. So my conflict was, I didn't want to upset any of my parents at any time, because then maybe I wouldn't see my dad. When I saw my dad, every single time he dropped me off, he told me this before he died, every single time he dropped me off at the Monday morning on the nursery school, I was crying as if I was being absolutely stabbed to death. like literally panically anxiety. I mean, he didn't recover from this separation until the next day. So he would drop me every second Monday, because I was with him every second weekend. So he would drop me every second Monday morning to the nursery school, and I was crying like I was dying, literally. And I was maybe 1.5, 2, 3, 4, up until the age, I remember doing this pattern until I was about 7. I remember it when I was maybe 6, 7, but I can't remember doing this crying when I was 2. Do you know what I mean? So I can't remember that, but he told me this. He did not recover until the next day, sometimes even Wednesday. And this type of separation anxiety and this type of abandonment, although I knew he wasn't abandoning me, it started then to create this separation, this wounding within me, that will I be left again? Do I have to sort of like control my environment so that what if my dad leaves again? Or can I trust the masculine? And this is very common, right? This doesn't just happen, like it happens all the time, right? And then also, my mum and dad did not argue, so we didn't have any more toxic trauma apart from the fact that I was just left there, which was probably enough trauma. So if we think of it as, obviously for me, this is my learning to become whole and to trust that I will not be abandoned, trust the flow of life, trust that I will always be loved, whether I'm with my mum or dad, or one or the other, trust that I am good enough to be loved. And, this made it difficult for me as well when I was growing up to also, what happened was, because my dad wasn't there with his masculine energy in the same sort of, how should I put it, not the same amount, if you like, as my mum was, I stepped into my masculine a lot more. So I became very self-sufficient, very sort of self-driven. My mum wasn't exactly sort of not encouraging. She was encouraging, and she was very supportive, but she wasn't a man, and she wasn't maybe so goal orientated or things like that. So I really stepped into this self-sufficiency role. We see this with a lot of women, and I became this A-type woman, where I was really just doing everything myself. I didn't trust anyone else to do anything for me. And only obviously later in life did I discover that this has got to do with my wounding. And although it served me to certain levels, we know as women that we should allow support, or I've learned now to allow support. But it was a really tough time for me. I mean, even at age 40, I had to nearly sort of break down. I was really, really ill after my son was born, and I had no choice. I think this is when my 10-1 completely broke and completely got into like full trust and transformed into gift, instead of being in this position, in karmic position of not allowing any support because I was so self-sufficient. So I allowed support, and I allowed this in, and since then, so I'm 48 now. So the last 8 years has been pretty good, I must say. But this 10-1 is this is my biggest lesson. This is my biggest lesson in life, learning to trust and to heal my masculine within me, and heal and become more into my feminine, more of a softer energy as well. So I can only really showcase my own my own journey. Obviously, when I help my clients, this is something we work through together, but I just really want to showcase my own journey, and so that you learn a little bit about this. I also have it in 10 destiny, 10-1 in soul destiny, which means the 10-1 in soul destiny, it means different. It just means that when I'm here to become this, the walking, talking expression of my soul, and it's often a healer or a leader or a visionary to have this number. In any case, the 10-1, once I've healed so much of the abandonment and the trauma and this continuous wounding that was occurring for me, I became much more trusting. My relationship with my husband became so much stronger. I became much of a better, even in my business, it's like the 10-1 also wants to control, because it doesn't trust anyone else to do anything. This is self-sufficiency. And since I started healing so much more of it, I'm trusting much more of the business. I'm trusting my clients more to step up and do their work without me having to. I don't have to control anything. Do you know what I mean? I have to just be there as a guide, a guiding light, and a mentor. So it's not just my own well-being that I have healed. It's like I'm healing on all levels of my life. I'm healing my relationships with my close and loved ones. Nevertheless, I mean, look, this really also healed my relationship with my dad. So my dad died in 2017, but I had done so much healing around this that we had a wonderful, wonderful relationship, and also with my mum. So and my children, of course. Now, what's really interesting is my daughter also have 3 10-1s. She has 3 10-1s, and we have this same energy, and she is not going through the abandonment issues as such. You know, she's a really, really highly spirited star child. So I don't think she's going to have to go through what I went through at all, because we have a very stable family life. But the point here is that everything can be healed, and I can't say enough how rewarding and how profound this healing has been for me to overcome this abandonment, and not feeling like the masculine is not there for me, or not feeling that I can trust life, or, you know, it's almost like you can't really put a price on that. So yes, it's been absolutely wonderful. I'm wondering now, see if I want to say anything more. 10-1 also indicates, as I said, having a very spiritual life, and following your spiritual signature, and actually being very, very committed to your spiritual life and your journey. And that's something also that I committed to fully. I'd say in 2009, that was when everything changed for me personally. So yeah, if you just come in now, you're going to have to watch the replay maybe for the beginning. So I'm going to stop sharing for now, and I'm going to come back now and answer some questions, and then maybe we can go deeper into, you may want to share some of your own stories, or share some of your own experiences, and I can give you some advice how to move forward, etc. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and here we are. So I'm just going to check the comments. So Pragati had 3 10-1s in her chart. Yeah. That's great. Okay, so any questions on this? Like, any questions? Just anything that comes to your mind. Maybe you want to share a little bit about who you are and where you are in the world, and maybe how this class really was, you know, felt like you wanted to come today. There must have been something in it. Who wants to share something? Questions. No questions. Pragati, why don't you share a little bit about how you feel this is playing out for you? Or
I was just typing, you're very psychic. That's really good.
Yeah, I knew, I could feel it. Yeah.
I was just saying, as I've been saying during other sessions, that I've been feeling held back, and I'm not able to detach from certain negativity, and I'm not sure exactly what the core block is. It's like I'm a car revving up, but in the same place, working really hard. And I wonder, I don't know, is it a soul contract? Is it generational? I've tried to cut cords. So I'm just being me and just being chilled and telling myself positive things. So I'm not sure what's going on, but yes, I do have 3 10-1s in my chart.
So when you did that, did you go to the soulcontractreader.com and got your chart?
It's a soul plan reading. I did go last year. I did have one and it was quite similar. I'm just trying to find the soul contract reader plan. I can't find it.
Let me get you the link. So
I've got the link here. Yeah, I copied it while you were doing it, and I just
sure.
can't get back in, to be honest.
So let me just copy. So I'm just dropping it now in the comment there. So basically, what I wanted to ask as well, Pragati, when you did that, oh, Catherine don't have any sound. Okay, I don't know. Might be your computer, Catherine. Because everyone else can hear me, right? Yeah? Everyone else can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. When you did that reading, because you have an Asian origin name, did you put it in as it's written in English?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had it checked by anyone? Because sometimes the spelling, you know how I just changed my spelling from my Swedish name? So if it's pronounced slightly different, then it's written in English, you wouldn't then have the right numbers. I'm just checking.
Okay, so maybe that's wrong.
Might be. Depends on your whole birth name. If you drop your whole, I can check it another time. So Pragati is in my membership, but why don't you drop your full birth name? I can check it later.
Okay, thank you.
Drop the full name, I'll check it. Just do it in Messenger, Pragati.
Will do.
Yeah. Amanda says, so what I was going to say on your question then there, Pragati, when we become fully aware of the patterns, and we say, okay, I can see now where the traumas are, or where the challenges have been, and then start using either divine healing or some other deep healing or coaching or some sort of energy work to remove it, then that's when the shifts start happening. We cannot intellectualize and just think ourselves through it, because the energy work is where it happens. So this is what I've said to you before, Pragati. It's important that the actual energy work happens, as well as understanding what's happening, of course. But yeah.
I've tried different things, Jenny. I've tried cord cutting, theta healing, Reiki, all different ones. Had healing from you. I just think there's a big lesson that I'm waiting, that I haven't learned yet. That is, I'm still in the test and still on a different level, ascending, but it's really hard work, and I keep on saying, look, I don't want this anymore, stop, it's too hard. So, but yeah, I will heed what.
Send me your name, Pragati, fully. I'll just let me check it, because we haven't done the soul contract reading, have we? So really we should check this. Send it over and we'll do that separately, okay?
Okay,
so Amanda says, so yeah, so there may well be a big obstacle, but everything is work outable. This is the thing, right? We can work through everything. It is never set in stone that this is the way. It really is not, because apart from the soul contract and other tools and coaching and things that we can use, I just need you to know that you are the creator. So like, you really can change things. Like, you can change this. You decided to come in this lifetime and have this set of whatever they are, challenges. And you are also capable to change everything. So it's not like, oh, here's your map. There you go. That's it. You can't change it. You really can. And that's why we have the tools and everything, so that we can apply them. All right. Okay. So Amanda says, I have no 10-1 in current name, but 7th in physical karma and physical talent. So when you say 10-1 in your birth name, is that your birth name, Amanda? As in like your birth certificate name before married? can't hear you.
Sorry, apologies, ladies. Yes, the 10-1 is in the birth name, but not currently in the current name.
No, so the birth name is the one that matters. Yeah. So the birth name is your birth cake.
Yes.
I know you had one in. Yeah, I know you had one in there. Where is it exactly? Was it a Soul Destiny, or where was it?
The 10-1 is in the 2 seconds.
I think it's in your talents.
The 10-1 is in physical talents.
Yes, I remember.
And
yes,
Soul Destiny is 9-9. So, but I haven't got any of those numbers in my current name.
But it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
No, because your birth certificate name is your birth cake.
Okay.
That's your set energies, but by having an overlay name or a married name or changing your name in any shape or form will then give you another set of energies. Do you remember?
Yeah. So
it's like an icing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the 21-3 I can't find in my current name.
That's in the overlay with your married name, I think, was it? Yes. Okay. So that's the one we were like, okay, we need to just either add your middle name to get rid of 21-3, or completely rethink the whole thing and add a new spiritual name to go inside.
Yes.
So Amanda and I, so Amanda's in my membership, and we were talking about the 21-3. We're not going to talk about that today, but 21-3 is really quite challenging energy. We don't want it anywhere. We just want to sort of, we want to share. It's just hard work, too hard. And we don't need that. We need ease and flow. So Tracy's saying for charting, yes, you should strictly, yes, absolutely, strictly use your full birth name, because your birth name is what your soul intended for you. These are your core lessons, and then we decode those and say, right, here are some of the core lessons, here are the goals and your talents, and this is, and then if you have a married name, that will be then different set of energies. Right? So Ashby can really relate to the masculine abandonment at the early age of patterns. Yes, and the feminine took the masculine to be self-sufficient. Exactly. So if you think of society, like let's look just as Western society as well. I'm so passionate about this masculine and feminine balance, because if we look at the Western society as it is, there has been, everything is run in masculine energy, which we could argue is a 10-1. We could argue that energy is 10-1, and it's like structured, busy, leadership, like produce, do this, da 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 da. And when we are looking at creating balance within ourselves and within our business as well, we are really looking to balance the feminine and the masculine within us, so that we can make them use the best of our abilities, I suppose, as well. So doing it in an energy that is more aligned with the new era, because the old era is all masculine. So what happened was that all the women would go into this masculine structure of how to create success, how to make things work for yourself, how to, let's say you're a single mom and you want to go and provide for your children. Maybe you have to work 2 jobs. Like, I'm just saying, this is the old paradigm, and there was no options how to create from a feminine space. But this is what we really want to move away from and go into much of a more feminine way of creating, but holding the masculine divine structures within our business and within our life. So yeah, so Ashby, it probably took you as being controlling and over sort of like autonomy over everything in your life and maybe even in your family. Is that right? You don't have to answer.
Yeah, you know, I think just in the observance of my mom being kind of more carrying that structure of management in a household, which my dad's mother did the same. So it's just interesting to see that pattern kind of worked out. So and my observation with my relationship in my marriage, I tended to take on, more of the management role, and that imbalance for sure was there, of the feminine masculine. And now it's like, really filling into letting the masculine to kind of take a seat and allowing the feminine to come in more of that easeful way.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I think also having, managed and mastered this quite well, and I'm still a work in progress, I just want you ladies to know that it's okay. Like, everything is okay. We are dismantling, we are sort of peeling that onion, we are changing, and it's okay to take it in stages. If you think of all your, your ancestral line of women, it's a lot of women, and there's a lot of generational stuff that we are here to clear up and heal from and change. So we just got to be really soft on ourselves as well, because it's almost like, oh yeah, I want to create from a feminine space. I want to heal all my trauma from, masculine overdrive, or whatever we want to call it. It takes a little bit of time. It's not like a 1 week job, right? It's more about us really allowing ourselves to enjoy the journey, know that something's happened over thousands of years, and this time that we are alive right now is the time to change and clear and just change everything. And it just takes a little bit of time, and it's okay. I started to really heal all my trauma and all my stuff deeply in 2009. I had healed, I had had a lot of counseling and therapy before that for my parents splitting up and other things as well. So I had started it when I was in my 20s, but really going in deeply into it was then. And where are we? 23, so let's say 14 years later, I feel like, yes, I have totally changed my life, but I'm always curious. I'm like, okay, what else is going to pop up? I'll heal it. I'm sort of open, to always change my life and change my business and upgrade and invest and all those things. So look at it as a project and enjoy it, and it really is possible. As a collective, we're all going through this huge change. So whatever you're feeling inside is also what's going on in the collective, and all the things start from within ourselves. So if you think of all the men as well having to heal their masculine, distorted masculine, because they also haven't got a roadmap. We just got to be patient. Just because we as women are maybe a little bit more connected to changing and altering our consciousness generally than men, they are still on the same journey as well, and sometimes don't know what to do. If I look at my husband, he's done a lot of deep inner work. Had he not done it, I don't think we would be able to be together, because I'm so committed to this, and he is as well. But I can just see how he was carrying lots of old of his father's patterns and programming, obviously, and I was mine. And we've come to this space now where we are like the new couple of the new earth, which is in a very balanced and harmonious way, where we know that when we get triggered, we take a deep breath and we don't speak. And we speak when we calm down, and we really think about what triggered. And it's like a really conscious way of being. And if men and women can both do this, we will not just heal our lives and our families, but we're actually healing the whole earth. Because if children grow up in that kind of healed environment, then we are also bringing children into the new earth in a very beautiful way. So it starts with us. Any questions on that? So you feel free to ask any questions around abandonment or around any things that you've gone through, and I will answer it to my best ability.
I have a question and comment.
Yes.
Okay. So
did you put one there? Did I miss it? Or...
Oh no, I didn't type it.
Oh, okay, cool. So you can ask me now.
I overthought what I was writing. I was like, stop. Should probably just say. So the question is, how do you remind yourself to be kind to yourself? I know that sounds odd. I've made quite a few changes recently. Like I've been through my parents have been through 2 divorces. So like there's a divorce when I was about 4, which was super nasty. Contact with the biological mom, and then my dad got remarried at 9, and that was a rough marriage, and they got divorced last year, and it's been a wild ride with weird, vicious attacks from her end and her side of the family, ex-stepmom. And I went through a lot of fear, and I felt like a child for so much of last year, like that. It was horrifying. I guess I don't know how to explain it, but to like feel like a child, but like in the most terrifying ways, and to just try to be kind and like move through things. I definitely struggle with reaching out. Like been making more of an effort to keep in contact with a few people, letting many go. And now like I'm in a new place, physically moved, and have been like, I've kind of like, I allowed disorganization to exist, but then I'd clean. And I found myself to like try to be quietly patient over like the last month since I moved in, to just clean and do things when I feel like it. But I'm also trying to distinguish kind of when I feel like I'm hiding, I guess. I struggle with discerning some of my emotions or feeling confident that I can make the right just like a good decision. Because I realize I'm like, well, if I'm not being productive, then I'm failing. And so trying to like dismantle all of this now that I have no one else around me but me, it's just a unique phase, I guess, that I'm learning how to appreciate and deal with.
How long have you been in the new place?
It's only been like 3.5 weeks, but it has been life-changing to feel safe. Just like no one's gonna come get me. Like only like 4 people know where I live, and I just finally feel safe. Like no one's going to attack me, show up at my door. Just, I mean, it just got really bad.
So when you were talking to me, and thank you so much for sharing this, because I think it's really important, like to be completely transparent with what's happened and everything. And, you know, this is a safe space. What it feels like is that your trauma was re-triggered, you know, from your childhood.
Yeah.
So little Aurelia, age 4, was feeling completely traumatized again. And I really recommend some divine healing on this. I know I have a couple of divine healers in my membership, because I mean, you could work with me, of course, but they would probably be quite happy to support you on some of the trauma healing. If you want me to put you in contact with someone. But I really would recommend that. And then also look into some really, well, so inner child work is very much about nurturing that little girl who was so traumatized at the time, and then start rebuilding your own energy, your own life, and your own independence. If I don't remember wrong, I think you may have an 11-2 somewhere, which means maybe a lack of structure and support. And it's like you've got to find your own support, like supporting yourself, and find your own independence. And this is why you feel so scared, because it's feeling like, are you going to find that within yourself? Like, do you know what I mean? Is it going to be okay?
It's true. I have to rebuild. Like, I kept putting people on pedestals, wanting someone to like make it better, because no one ever did. And then it's been a really like back and forth pendulum in a lot of ways, but it's like slowing down and becoming, I see that there's been a lot of progress, and trying to recognize when I feel like I'm running away, just because even with the last like different things that happened, my father did not protect me. And so I realized, even though a parent is there, that does not mean that they actually, sometimes they hurt you just as deeply as if they had. So whether or not a parent is there, I guess I consider it still majorly abandonment. So just recognizing like the abandonment existed by almost everyone and everything. And but also seeing the incredible power that I kept making an effort earlier this year, that was like, I will get a new position and I want a safe space. And I had like 3 requirements and I got all of them. And so I keep reminding myself, like, if I can do that, I can do anything. Like, if I can do this thing. But it is very challenging to exist.
So what's happening here really is that, like, your soul really wants you to come into your fullest and best and highest potential. Like, that's why you come this lifetime. And in order for you to do that, it's like you've got to create this full independence, this full self-reliance without overworking. You know, it's not to do it in a distorted masculine way. It's about building that inner deep stability from within. And that's where the deep inner work comes in. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So although it feels completely petrifying, it's the only way through. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And that can be so painful. And it's almost like, please come and save me, someone. I don't want to feel this pain. You know, I don't want to go through this really terrifying experience.
Yeah.
But Spirit wants you to grow and step into your absolute highest and fullest potential. And then when I speak to you in 6 months, you'll be like, oh my God, that was really, really hard, but I'm doing so well now, you know, or like, I'm really working on the things that I've been working on, wanting for a long time. And it's really going to work out for you.
That's good.
Yeah, good.
Really good point.
So let me, look, I'll send you an email, but I recommend, obviously you have the Ascension Clearing Kit and everything, don't you? Do you use that still?
I haven't used it recently. I've been instating more of a adapting and reinstating to some extent what do you call it? Structure. I'm trying to like, it's like a constant trying to figure out how to have structure without authoritarianism, basically, you know. It's, yeah, so I lean between order and chaos and trying to figure out what that means every day. It's like a daily moment to moment type of, which is okay. I mean, in the end, like some
You'll
people
figure it out.
Yeah,
Figure it out. But yes, I will connect you with somebody inside the membership who is a divine healer. Like I always pair you guys up. I'll send you an email. I'll give you some suggestions. And yeah, I'll pair people up sometimes when I think it's a good, especially if they need to, you know, they also want to work with someone. So I'll just figure it out tomorrow. Okay.
that'd be great.
So Farina, thank you, Aurelia. So Farina says, just got my chart. So you're showing 12.3 for spiritual karma. So Farina Latif, so did you put in your, is it like, is it pronounced Farina Latif like this in English? You English born, as in the Farina, would that be the correct pronunciation? So yeah, you put your full name, Diana Farina Latif, and is it pronounced in an English way, or is it because if your parents intended it to be pronounced slightly different? Okay, so it's in English, exactly. We can have origin names from other, you know, other parts of the world, but they will sometimes be pronounced in that language. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to check. Okay, so it's in English. Yes. So spiritual karma 12.3. Okay. That's another number. That's another number. I think we talked about the 12.3 another time. I think we will probably talk about it a little bit next time. But 12.3 means that you are on a spiritual journey. You want to expand a lot. Are you very busy all the time, Farina? Do you have a lot of things to do on your list all the time? Because the 12B wants to expand all the time. Yeah. Okay, so was there any more questions on the actual yeah, to do with spiritual? Yeah, okay. I know all about 12.3. I've got a 12.3. So let's go back to the abandonment to reclaimed sort of topic. Does anyone else relate to this whole thing of abandonment, or this feeling of having to do it yourself and be self-reliant, and feel free to share a little bit and we can kind of dive into some solutions. So Catherine says, my question is how to heal my inner child. I've been denying her for so many years. And I'm 53 years old now, and growing up in the West, weren't allowed to show emotions. Okay. Anger and rage. Okay. Extensive counseling. Yep. You don't know where to begin. So what I would say, Catherine, I would recommend that you go, and I drop the link above. If you go and get your soul contract, and then go and get the book as well and start learning about the soul contract. So let me also get you the book. So your soul contract, decoded. So if you get the book as well, you can start then learning about your challenges. It feels like, let me just put that there as well for you guys. What it feels like, Catherine, is that yes, you're meant to heal all the things that's been suppressed. Because as we grow up, if you were told not to express how you feel or have room to move your emotions, then you will internalize them all, and then they will become wounds or, like, you know, scars now. And then they will start creating beliefs and all those things within you, so that you then feel this way that you're feeling right now. And then those things then keeps us stuck, right? So that's the whole, that's how it starts. So your subconscious mind starts creating beliefs for you as soon as you suppress emotions, as soon as you're being sort of programmed, if you like, or you know, in this way, or conditioned, start creating then beliefs around that, which is the ego does that. And then when you feel the way you're feeling now is all those things. So I really recommend that you do that with, go and get your soul contract from the software. You get 4 different names for free, and then go and get the book. You can also, I mean, look, I'm going to share a little bit in the end here, different ways to, you know, to work with me, but that's a good start. What you could also do, guys, actually, I'm thinking this now, go to my website as well, jennylyon.love, and then you can get your soul business bundle there. In there you have the bioenergy clearing, which is a healing, which is also free. So you could start getting, you know, get started with a few tools before you decide on other things. All right. So I recommend that, Catherine. Go and get that clearing from my website. Go and get your chart, get the book, start learning a little bit about your journey, your soul journey, and then keep coming back to these calls, and you know, we can talk about other options too. But yeah,
Thank you.
That's your welcome, darling. So Farina says, I definitely feel this way most of my life. For the past 2 years, I've done a lot of work around distorted masculine. Yeah. Exactly. So we all have different journeys around the distorted masculine, or the wounded masculine, if you like, and also the wounded feminine. You know, for us, I'm just going to mute you guys. Mute all. If you think of your life, how you grew up, and start looking at the way your parents, you know, they did their best, usually they try to do their best, and then look at how you are now operating, you can see the patterns. Like, you can see the patterns of, like, I look at myself and how my dad was absent, and how I then started to become self-sufficient. My mum tried to do as much as she could. There was a lack of structure. I had to create my own structure. This is why I'm so good at giving people roadmaps now in terms of how to create their own success, because I was kind of also dropped, just saying, yeah, you can do everything, Jenny. And there was like, right, whoa, that was it. No structure, no roadmap, no nothing. And I had to figure it all out myself, which is then obviously became a strength. So I can now give other people roadmaps how to get to their success. But everything is meant to be, and you're meant to work through all the things, and you're meant to create exactly the life and the business and all the other things in life that you desire most by using the right tools, and you know, commit to it. So we just this here. So Tracy says, I'm not completed my soul contract yet, but mum and dad divorced at age 7, both remarried. Yeah, they had additional children. Yeah, this is really common. My sister and I from first marriage were treated not equally with the other children. Yeah. So again, creating that sort of separation within the child, feeling like, why am I not included, or am I not as good as them, or, you know, that kind of thing. And that also creates feelings of lack of self-worth and those things, which is a part of what happens from abandonment, that you feel like you're not worthy as well. And then Farina says, I can totally relate to that. Yeah, having to be self-sufficient from a very young age. Yeah, exactly. So what I feel is a really important thing here, guys, when things are coming up for you and you go, oh, hang on a minute, this is a really interesting pattern, you're starting to notice something, or it's uncomfortable, or you are triggered, that's when you are healed. That's when you need to heal it. That's when you need to go, right, okay, interesting, that's come up. Let's focus on that now. Let's try to sort of, really, let's work on that. Instead of going, oh, that's really uncomfortable, I don't want to feel that way, I'm going to push it away. That is the absolute wrong way to do it. So by just being on this call, you're probably going, oh yeah, like I can really feel these different memories and these things coming up. It's time for me to look at those and start healing those. Any other questions? So I'm going to just share. Yes, Tracy's like saying that. Yes, so I'm just going to share a little bit about ways to work with me, but also other resources that you can get started with. So before we do that, just more questions before we finish off. Anyone who felt like they wanted to share something around the topic today, or have a little bit of coaching around it? Amanda? Yes, I can hear you now. Hi, Amanda.
Self-sabotage is my main thing I've noticed. I tried doing your astrology thing. I couldn't get access to it. I have troubles with all of that stuff though. That's part of my literature.
Okay, so the soulcontract.com, you mean?
Yeah, I tried signing up for it, but I guess because I'm on my cell phone, it wouldn't let me access it.
Oh, go and do it on computer, laptop at home.
Okay, I'm gonna have to borrow somebody's. I'm having technical differences coming up.
Yeah, try get it on a
Self-sabotage.
computer. It's better.
Okay. But I do know I purposely self-sabotaged when I'm being abandoned by men. I literally just lost my job, but I know I did it in a way because he was disrespecting me. And I do that with all my relationships. And I kind of, it runs in my DNA family. I've done a lot of DNA healing, but this one core one keeps coming back and it's driving me crazy because it's messing with my purpose work.
Yes. Okay. So when you did not agree with, obviously, not being treated well, you resigned. Is that?
Well, I noticed I've been working on my throat chakra, so I've been learning to speak my truth. So that's how I've noticed quite a bit with it, that I'm starting to clear that pattern and stuff like that. But then I noticed like yesterday that I'm like, wait a minute, I purposely self-sabotaged my workspace to leave it because I was being disrespected by my boss, which is a male. And it's the same pattern as my last relationship, which was a twin flame for 5 years. So it's all of my mirror relationship. So I went like through the dark night of the soul for 3 solid years and cleared so much of my past, which my past is literally all dark. Like I was molested, I was raped, I've watched over 169 people die. I've buried the love of my life. I've literally been through everything. I watch all you guys, all your coaching and all your healers and all you guys on how you guys help people. But I've never found anyone that relates to me, that has literally been through everything. Like I have literally watched people get married. I've watched thousands of kids be born. I am a mother. I've literally been through the circle of life with fear, like abundance, like pretty much everything. I've lived in every culture. I'm a big fan of all cultures. But it's just like, I felt like I did all this massive healing. I worked so hard on myself and I'm still stuck with this self-sabotage. I was so curious about this purpose that you were doing that like really drew me in because I'm all about astrology and stuff.
So what it feels like here, just what's happening, the sabotage pattern that is actually happening here is that you are going like, oh, I'm speaking my truth, I'm standing up more for myself, I'm not longer going to ask for permission, but then you abandon yourself. Because it's like if you were holding your own energy and your own worth, and if this is a self-worth and self-love, so you're doing really well because you've already come to the point where you're speaking up, but then it's a self-love and self-worth like thing is the next
my
step.
main thing.
Yeah, because you're standing there speaking your truth, and then you abandon yourself because you're running away, right? So, and because you're thinking, well, what if I won't be loved? What if I will be rejected? What if I will be these things by the masculine, right? And then you protect yourself from the pain by actually creating these situations so that you don't have to stand. And if you had loads of self-love and self-worth, like feeling deeply in love with yourself, how they react would not matter to you.
You're 100%.
Yeah. So the next step is self-love, self-worth, self-you.
I've been working so hard on that.
I bet you have, but that's like the missing bit here. I know that you're not new to it, but that would be the last. So we will start changing completely when you stand in your power, you speak your truth, you are no longer affected by the external, in the sense that whatever they say, whatever that, and you can still choose and go, actually, I choose to apply for a new job now because it doesn't feel good. Like, I can stay here for a bit and I can watch these people do these nasty things, and I know it's got nothing to do with me, but actually I don't want to be in this environment. I'm going to get a new job. And it will be more of a calm, systematic way of moving yourself to a better space, while these ones are like abrupt, which is still a trauma response. Does that make sense?
Yeah, self-love is something I've been working really hard on.
Yeah, so you're doing well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm just looking, so we're going to just answer the last couple of questions, and then I'm going to share a little bit about working within my community, what we're doing. So let me see here. So Tracy's saying, for charting, should we use strictly a full birthday? Yes. Well, I think I've kind of gone far up the thing here. Hang on. Sorry, I'm just looking. Yeah. Yes, okay. Okay, I think that was all the questions. So now I'm going to share a little bit of how you could work with me and how we can make things changed for you. So depending on what budget you're on, like as well, because we've got different things. Okay, let me just put this. I'm just going to put this in here. I just want to share some options, what I feel would really work for you guys. Okay, so there we go. All right, so I'm just going to share this picture I've got here. Let me actually just get it here. 1 second. Just bear with me, guys, ladies and gentlemen. All right, just bear with me, guys. Okay, here we go. Bear with me. So I want to try and make it as easy to understand as possible. Hopefully you can all see that now. There we go. So when it comes to healing, this is what I've just come up with as well. I haven't even announced it yet. I did these calls for 3-4 months now, and I was just talking about how to do things and business mentorship and things like that. But actually, what I realized is that everyone needs a bit of healing. So what I really recommend for you guys who feels like, yes, I need to work on my abandonment healing, I have put a date together here, the 13th of June, which is healing your abandonment trauma, which is a group healing, and that is £44. It's about $55. So I actually said this, I created a group for the Facebook group, like a messenger group. And I was just been saying lately that if anyone can come and have these type of powerful healings for really affordable prices, that's exactly what's needed right now. The whole world needs healing. So that would be your best option right now, to start with one of those. I will send you the link, you know, in the replay. You'll get the link for booking the session. The replay is available. For those who wonder then how it works, I'm a divine healer. I have been doing thousands of hours with clients, worked with lots of trauma. I did a lot of, in the beginning of my journey, when I was doing healing, I worked with a lot of anxiety and mental, I wouldn't say disorder, but mental issues. Like I've worked with schizophrenic people and stuff like that. So I've had some really challenging cases to work on. So I'm really experienced with the trauma work and really holding the space for people. So all types of different things of healing I've been doing over the years. So I really recommend this. I use Divine Healing, which is a multidimensional healing tool. It's actually developed by a medical doctor. So we typically work on very specific things with the system. Because she's a medical doctor, she also understands, you know, she's put in so many different specifics around the body and how the psyche works. And, you know, she's really an amazing doctor and healer. So that's that. Now with the soul contract, if anyone wanted to do that, I do them as a one-off at 444. This is something that you would keep, you know, this is an asset. So it's like a 2-hour reading, which you will keep and you will listen to it again and again. And it's a part of your growth, and we can go really, really deep into everything. Some of you are in my membership, and this is the Connected Soul Club. This is for spiritual entrepreneurs who would like to not just build their business, but also heal themselves. So in this mentorship or membership, we also have some monthly healing, as well as the you know, coaching around on your business and everything. It also includes the Ascension Clearing Kit. You maybe heard me talk to Aurelia about the Ascension Clearing Kit. The Ascension Clearing Kit is I haven't put it on here actually, but it's a self-study healing. And you've got to just kind of plug into the lessons. You can buy it separately, but it is included in the club. But if anyone was interested in the Ascension Clearing Kit, it's a one-off at 555. So then you have it for life, and it has 11 hours of powerful energy healing. But at this point, I really recommend to come to this healing that I'm doing on the 13th of June, and you know, come and join me on that one, and then we can start really diving deep. With the private mentorship, you have to ask for details. You need to email me. Okay, so that was that for me. I'm going to stop sharing, and if you have any questions on this, let me know on that. Did anyone have any questions on that? If not, we can drop off soon. You will get all the links to all these things in your email with the replay. All right. I don't think there was anyone else. I think everyone's dropping off. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, she's got a client. Okay, so I see you next time. Don't forget to watch. Also, don't forget to come to the podcast, like the podcast. I just released the podcast last week. So go to jennylyon.love. There's a podcast thing there. Go and listen to the podcast. It's amazing. You will really enjoy that. I'll put that in the replay as well. And I'll see you soon, ladies and gentlemen. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you. No worries. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.